everyone, welcome to Watercolor Wednesday. I am Bonnie Krebs, creator of Watercolor the Art Impressions Way, and this week's project is a little different. I'm going to show you how to watercolor these Floral Invites. So this is a new set for me. I haven't done anything like this before. There are two in this series. I love them because they're all kind of self-contained. So when you're, creating an invitation, whether it's for a wedding or a shower or whatever, you got everything that you need and you can make everything looks really uniform. So what I love about this is how quick and easy it is. That's always my favorite to every project, is that it's quick and easy. So you obviously can color these with, your Copic markers or your colored pencils or whatever medium you use, but I love watercolor, and you can watercolor these super quick and easy. So I'm going to show you how to do that. There are a couple of tricks to make them look three-dimensional, but they're really easy, and once you get it, you get it. So let's get going on this. We're only going to need two colors to ink this stamp with, and I'm using my positioner. This is the Tim Holtz Tonic positioner. I'm using it, and I've placed my stamp on here, of course, just like this. And I've got my watercolor paper on my positioner, or on my platform. So I'm going to ink this now with two colors. And you can see I've already inked it before because I stamped my project earlier. So when you're using a brand new stamp, you want to ink it first because it is a little hard to see. And I always put a piece of white paper underneath, and that makes it even easier to see. So you are coloring things individually. You see the three blooms in the center and the greenery, the foliage on the outside. So we are going to color those with the purple, or your color of choice. And then we're going to go around and color the greenery with the green. So I'm using the side of my marker, just like we do with everything that we watercolor. Use the side of your marker, just like this, and just kind of go around. If you don't get it all perfectly, it's okay. Don't worry about that. Get enough ink on here though. And then I'm gonna take my green. This is the number 177 green, but honestly, whatever green you want, you can use, and just go back around it now. The nice thing about a stamp platform is that if you don't get everything exactly on here stamped perfectly, you can just stamp right over the top of it again. So with these big stamps, sometimes you might need to do that, restamp it. And that's okay. And also when you're using two colors like this, because by the time you get all the way around with the green, your purple might start to dry a little bit. So I'm just going to go back over it again and just make sure I've got this on here. And now I'm going to just pull this back over and stamp this onto my watercolor paper and really get a good impression on here. So I'm just making sure that I'm getting every part of this stamp onto my watercolor paper. And remember, when you're stamping on watercolor paper, it's a little textured, so you do have to press a little bit harder. So let's see how that is, and that looks pretty good. Okay, so now I'm going to take this off and move my stamp platform out of the way, and we are ready to watercolor. So this is the fun part. And I'm just going to grab my palette and my water, and that's all we need. So I'm going to start out by dipping my brush in the water, and I don't know why, but I always do the green first, but that's up to you. And I'm just going to start by pulling the color out of the lines. Don't be too careful with this. I know that's kind of hard to do, but leave some white spaces. We're going to go back in and add some more color. So we don't want everything to be uniform as far as all the same color of green. And the goal is to make it look like a painting, not a stamped image. So in order to do that, we want to add more color to it and kind of mix up the greens a little bit. So you can see I'm just kind of working my way around. The lines in the leaves create the color, so that's what we're drawing out. And just sort of jump your brush around a little bit. Just try not to color everything in too perfectly. And it takes a little bit to get that, because we tend to think the more that we work something and soften the lines, that the better it's going to turn out. And actually, it's kind of the opposite, especially with watercolor. It's better to just brush it on quickly and leave it. But then, you know, that makes these projects go so quick. I love that I can do these so fast. So I've worked my way around. This is the first step. So I'm going to add some color now to my palette. This is a very bright green, but I just love it so much. I use it all the time now. It's a 133. I don't even know what the name of it is, but it is a very bright green. And I'm just going to come in here with this now and color in these little green berries. So fun. And you know, so relaxing. And like I said, the goal is to make it look like a watercolor. And if you do it, if you color it this way, it will. It totally will. And now I can take some of this bright green and I'm just going to add it to some of these leaves here. Just brush on a little bit. Leave those white spaces. You know, it's so important to do that, to leave those white spaces. It gives you the idea that the leaf is three-dimensional, that the light is kind of catching on those light areas. So try to do that. Try to mix up your greens. This is another one. This is a cool green, and I'm just going to add some of this color now to these. Just a little bit here and there. And you can, you know, you can take your time with this. I'm always kind of going fast just because I'm filming a video, but you can take your time and just really have fun with it because there's no stress involved. You're just pulling color out of the lines, creating a little painting. So cute. And I'm just going back over these little bright colored ones, but you can see that's starting to take shape now. Just going to darken these up a little bit. And you can come back in later too. So if you get it all colored up and you put it aside and come back later and think, oh, I want to just add a little more green or purple to that, you can. Okay, so now let's go on to the blooms. And the trick with the blooms is always that we make things look three-dimensional. So this is a flat image right now because it's a stamped image. So what we want to do is we want to create this little bloom to look like a flower. We want to bring these petals up. We want to drop this center down. And the way to do that is to pull the color from the inside, not the center, but the outside of the center. Okay, so think about it as this giant area here, and you're going to start pulling the color up from the outside. And you're going to stop before you get to the edge. And all these little lines in the flower, they're going to create extra color. So as you go around, you're going to pull out a little more color from these lines that are going up and down. So you're going to be taking some from the center, but you're also going to be getting them from these lines on the side. So let things be darker and lighter. Don't try to make it all one color, and then work your way around and do the other ones. So pull that color up from the middle, and remember, you don't want to go clear to the edge because that creates a bend in these little petals. It looks like that flower is bending when you catch the highlight on the edge. I mean, it's all an illusion, but it's such an easy thing to do. And if you can just remember that, don't color everything in to the outside edge. You're going to create things that are much more three-dimensional, and you're going to be so much happier with it, how it looks. So let's go on over here. And that's why these stamps are different too, because it's about how much color is in the lines and how thick the lines are. If the lines are too thick and too wide, it's too much color. We pull out too much color from the lines. So they have to be the right width, and there has to be the right amount of them to get just the right amount of color. Okay, so you can see how we're bringing these little petals up now. So let's go to the center, and we're just going to dab now at the center. So just dab like this. Leave some white spaces, but you're not brushing anything now. okay? And now you're gonna take a little bit of that color and just pull it up from the inside, just a little bit. We're gonna make this just a little bit darker, not a lot. Don't bring it all the way up to where the other color was. And now, what we wanna do is we wanna lift those blooms up off of the foliage, and we do that by pulling it from the outside. So drag a little of this color now to the outside. And we're gonna create a little shadow under here that will lift those petals up. It's such an easy thing to do. And once you understand how to do it, it's just nothing to it. Okay, so you can see how we've lifted those little blooms up off of the foliage now. So I'm gonna take my brush and just pinch it off, and I'm gonna pull some of this color now to the outside. I do this all the time. Now this is totally up to you. If you like the cleaner look, you don't have to do this step, but I love blending everything together, and I love that look of watercolor. It's almost like a mystical look where everything is very soft and coming together. I just love that look. And you're actually touching that outside line and dragging it to the center. So you're not really coloring along. Don't go through here and just color on the outside of the leaf. You're touching that leaf and pulling that color to the outside. So you're touching the side of the area and you're dragging it to the center. And just, you know, you're not really brushing anything. You're just kind of pushing that color around. Okay, so let's take an accent color here, maybe this bright pink. And I'm just gonna take my fine tip and I'm gonna add some little dots to the center. Now you can do this with the purple as well, but I kind of like this little, adding a little extra color to it. And there you go, we are finished. And how easy was that? That's how you do all of these in this set. They're all the same. You're going to do them the same way. You're going to color the blooms with the purple, you're going to color the foliage with the green, and then you're going to pull the color out just like this. And be sure to remember that highlight on the edge. I hope you like this video. Sign it and date it. Always, always do that. Even on these, you want to sign and date. This is your own work and your own composition, you know, of color. And by the time it's finished, it's gonna look different every time you do it. So be sure and sign and date. And try this set. I think you're gonna have fun with it. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you like this video. Please give me a thumbs up if you do. And don't forget, more watercolor on Instagram, Bonnie Krebs Bible Journaling. You can do this in a journal or a Bible easily, same exact way. So check me out on Instagram and try this project. So thank you so much for watching. I will see you all again next week.